Hello everyone and welcome back to my F122 My Team Career Mode for round number 6 in Azerbaijan. It has been a while since the last episode of this series, but it is back. We're starting off with another Pirelli Hot Lap challenge for this circuit, and this one we have to basically compete in mini races of literally just the last sector. So there are 3 rounds. First we start ahead of our rival, so this one's pretty easy, and the second one we will start side by side, and finally we'll start behind. And gold is winning 3 races, silver's winning 2 races, and bronze is winning just 1. So ideally we want to win all 3. We literally parked right in the way there, as we got a pretty bad run, but they had nowhere to go. So yeah, I don't know why I just hit the flashback button there. I think I did that accidentally, but anyway, yeah, that is the first race just about done. We're just going to get a little push to the finish line, and we get there, and yeah, that is the first one complete. So I like these Pirelli Hot Lap challenges. Just adds a little extra to the intermediate time between races. There's just, I guess, gives a little more to do, and it gives you some bonus money and acclaim as well. So, actually, I don't think you get money for it, just the acclaim. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it's useful. I guess we'll find out at the end what the prize is. But either way, it's worth doing. This one, we had a bit of a tangle there, and the exit of the right-hander, that wasn't ideal. But we got away with it and managed to retake the position after losing it briefly. So yeah, I guess that works out well for us. And yeah, that is another one done, as we now head towards the finish line. And again, just having to block them all the way to make sure that they don't get through, but it's job done. And race 2 is in the books. So the last one will be tricky because we do start behind our opponent, as I mentioned. So we'll see. We're going to have to go full send into the first corner. There's no other way to get past. So here we go. We got a good start, actually. That makes things so much easier as we get down the inside now. We'll hop over the inside curb and find our way through, as we get a little bit naughty there apparently. But anyway, we will now just try and navigate these 2 corners. We can take it nice and easy. Because these cars don't turn very well, all you need to do is sort of stay on the racing line, and the car behind will have a lot of trouble getting past. So once again we get a bad run, but as long as we can just stay in front of them. They've got a little bit of an overlap here, so we're trying to squeeze them across. I think they lifted out of it, and we're able to get clear once again as we come across the line, and that is the 3rd race of the 3. One for us, and that is job done. Gold will be our reward, and we'll see what we get for it. Of course, we go. Let's see. Claim 1,000, and we do get cash, 100,000 cash. So yeah, definitely worth doing. Anyway, into the race weekend itself. This is just after practice, looking at what upgrades we can do. I was hoping to do aero, but unfortunately that department is full at the moment, so we'll go with chassis, the weight redistribution upgrade for the engine cover. That'll be on in time for the Austrian Grand Prix, so in 2 rounds time. So that'll be good to get that on the car. That'll be a decent improvement, but yeah, unfortunately on the R&D chart we're not looking so good at the moment. We're last and falling away, so yeah, things are going to be tough this weekend, but we'll see how it goes. Returning to the series is going to be difficult. Getting back up to speed in practice was a bit of an adventure as well. We can now swap in a new line of components for the things we get 3 of, such as the ICE and so on, and that will help us out a little bit. Maybe give us a bit more performance. None of them were too worn out to cost us any performance, I don't think. But you never know. I don't know exactly how these things work, but you know, nothing was more than 50% worn. But it's worth changing them because we don't need to be running older components when we can put newer ones in, basically. So yeah, if it does anything, reduces chance of failures, whatever, it's worth it. But anyway, I think that's enough of an introduction to all this. So yeah, I think it is time we just get into qualifying. Alrighty, we get underway then for actually our second flying lap in Q1. So we have a lap of fuel left, so we'll be right. We can push on for a second consecutive lap. Bit of a wobble on the exit, but the first lap was quite scrappy, so that's why I want to go again, just to tidy things up. On the same set of tires, I think we should still, you know, be able to extract the most out of the car. And while I'm still sort of getting up to speed again, I've picked a really great track to come back to the series with. Azerbaijan. It's incredibly tricky, especially the castle section and this particular corner. My goodness, I've had many problems with that corner. But anyway, yeah, it was very difficult to get back up to speed, and I'm still not fully at this point. That'll happen, you know, 20-30 laps into the race. I'll feel a lot more comfortable. But yeah, there's just not really any number of laps in practice. You know, you need to be doing the racing around in, you know, a racing situation to get that rhythm, and it really helps me when I have other cars to follow as well, which unfortunately I don't have in qualifying. But regardless, our second lap was not terrible, but given that we have the slowest car, it was always going to be difficult. And as you can see, we've qualified all the way down in second last, only ahead of Oscar Piastri, our own teammate. So yeah, that's it's not ideal, certainly. There's two Canadians right in front of us, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi, also not having a great time of things. Mick Schumacher and Zhou Guanyu also knocked out in Q1. So it's going to be a tricky race. Let's get into it.
Good afternoon and welcome from Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. Let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku's city circuit then. It's an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Norris, George Russell, and Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda, Bottas, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, and Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Albon, Guanyu Zhou, and Nicholas Latifi. The scientist, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, they've taken a grid penalty, and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I will not let you down. So, rain is forecast for the end of the race. On the icon on the far right, we have the chance of rain right towards the end. That makes things very interesting, so we'll have to see what effect that has. Tried a few different things in terms of strategy, but I think we're just going to go with the default softs to 2 sets of mediums, and potentially inters if the rain does come at the end of the race. We'll have to see. It could come, you know, almost halfway through, or it could come in the last lap. We don't know. But anyway, let's go to 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and we don't go. We're stuck on the grid. I've forgotten how to launch the car. we do eventually get moving, and we're finally underway for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Great reaction times for Stroll to not plow into the back of us, and he's managed to get us stopped, so he avoided a much bigger incident there. As Sebastian Vettel goes for a look down the inside of Oscar Piastri. We're fighting away with the Aston Martins here. They were penalised to the back of the grid for some new engine components, presumably. So they've been burning through them early in the season. But anyway, we're continuing to hold off Lance Stroll. Vettel gets through on Piastri. And we just have to wait and sit around for a little bit longer. I don't want to do anything silly in the opening laps. Remember, these are the first racing laps I've done in a Formula 1 car in this game for a long time, so we're just taking it nice and easy and just building up the confidence over time as we have a little look to the outside of Piastri, but couldn't really get the power down there, so close to the wall, and it was getting very tight. Now Lance Stroll down the inside into the right-hander just before we get to the castle section, so Lance Stroll getting very aggressive there. We had a little think about a move down the inside of the castle section. That would not have been a good idea, and we remain behind Lance Stroll for a little bit longer.
Okay, radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now.
Alrighty, we'll have a look at a replay of the start then. Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc on the front row. It's a great start from Charles Leclerc, and he'll take the lead into turn 1. Carlos Sainz looking down the inside of Perez as well, and it's a good exit for Perez though, as he heads around the outside of turn 2. Leclerc gives him room, and it's a compromised exit for the Ferrari. Can Perez drag race the Ferrari up towards turn 3? They're very evenly matched in terms of straight line speed. Carlos Sainz getting involved as well as they head in towards turn 3. Charles Leclerc still on the inside, and he'll get the move done on Sergio Perez, who drops into second position. So it's Ferrari's first and third, with the Red Bull sandwiched in the middle as we cut back to our onboard and begin a climb through the field. We're in last position at the moment.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
And our first target is our teammate Oscar Piastri. And which way will we make the move as we head into turn 1? We'll go to the outside, but we won't make the move. Piastri holds on, but he's compromised his exit as we now head towards turn 2. Lock up for Piastri, and we'll switch it back and get a nice run along the second long straight of the circuit, and that is a job done, and we move ourselves up one position into 21st. So yeah, it's going to be a long climb as we get a nice run on Lance Stroll there, and we're going to make the move down the inside. Lance Stroll into the castle section, and Stroll a slight grace with the wall, but that was actually a fairly clean maneuver. Here's the onboard with Lance Stroll, and just the slightest graze on the right. I think he's taken his end plate off the front wing, but that was a wild place to go for the move. I questioned why I was looking for that move earlier, but I had the run and had to make that move, and yeah, that's unfortunately come at the cost of Lance Stroll's front wing end plate. The safety car is now out as well, so that bunched us up the field, but we'll get racing once again as the chaos unfolds in front of us. We'll see if we can take advantage of any of this side-by-side action as they're looking all over the place into turn 2. We're going to get re-overtaken just there by Oscar Piastri briefly, so we'll see if we can hopefully get that position back as we head along towards turn 3. Big lunge down the inside, we get it stopped nicely, and we will retake that position. So yeah, unfortunately we weren't able to capitalize too much on the safety car restart, but everyone is still bunched up, and our tyres are starting to wear as well. Probably would have been a good idea to make one of our pit stops under that safety car, given the rain coming at the end. We probably could have gotten away with that, but regardless, we didn't make that choice, and yeah, that would have been a pretty good decision, I think. But anyway, easy to say in hindsight. Regardless, we are now catching up to Sebastian Vettel. Let's see if we can make an overtake on him. Can we make the move here to the inside? Big lunge, very big lunge, but we will force our way through. Bit of a awkward moment there, and Vettel gets back ahead as we get all sorts of sideways, and now we might lose another position as we're side by side trying to hold it, and we will, oh no, it's happening again towards the castle section. Stroll, we're side by side, and I think he's done the same thing, just grazing the right hand side wall. And my goodness, twice in a row we've come to this point of the circuit. This time it was Stroll trying to make the move around the outside. We left him as much space as I feasibly could. I was millimeters away from the inside wall. Check this out. That is as close as it gets. There was actually a fair amount of space between us and Lance Stroll, so he could have turned in a little bit harder there, but again, easy to say in hindsight. And Stroll is going to make another trip to the pit lane to get another front wing. So yeah, that's strange how things repeat themselves, but it's happened twice in this race, as we do eventually get the move done on Sebastian Vettel. And then it is time for our pit stop. The first of two scheduled stops in this race will be going on to the medium compound tyre, and they'll take us to just past the halfway point. So we run along the pit lane, then into the box, and we'll get a new set of tyres on the car. Oh, and the mistake from the pit crew. First time that's ever happened. Look at the right front. That actually looked fine. I think actually the left front that had the issue there. That was the slow one. So
You only have to stop once now. One stop left.
yeah, that was a little bit strange. He said right, but yeah, the left front slow going on, and yeah, that's cost us a little bit of time. So that's interesting.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
And we're aggressively trying to heat up these tyres because they weren't feeling great through turn 2, I gotta say, and we've got a car right behind us. Here's another replay of that pit stop. Now watching the left front, and yeah, the wheel guy there just struggling to line things up properly. It's easy to do, but it's cost us a little bit of time. Now Lance Stroll has got the run with DRS open. This is the fight for last position, and he's going to go sailing on through. Nothing we can do to defend that when he's just got that much more straight line speed. And yeah, we'll just have to sit and wait for our opportunity. We'll have DRS just up here. We have a little look to the inside there, but nothing we can really do at that point of the circuit. So now with the DRS open up towards turn 3, this is a much better opportunity. So we'll see what we can do as we head along towards turn 3. Big lunge down the inside, and we will get the move done on Lance Stroll and move ourselves up into 21st position. So that just shows, I guess, how, in some ways, how little progress we've made in this race. We're still fighting basically for last. There's a few different pit stop strategies that are playing out, it is worth mentioning. So everyone around us on mediums at the moment, but some people started on mediums, especially further up the field. But anyway, we'll see how it all plays out later on. Right now, we're right behind Zhou Guan Yu. We'll have a look to the inside, and we'll make the move on him. And we'll move ahead of the Chinese driver, and that's us now up into 20th position. So up next we've got Sebastian Vettel. He is also doing his best to make an overtake on Latifi. It's not happening yet, but Sebastian Vettel will be keen to get by because realistically he should be fighting, you know, closer up towards the top 10, and eventually he will have an opportunity to go for the move on Latifi towards the first corner, and Sebastian Vettel gets through. Latifi drops down a position, and they remain like that. Latifi does try to fight back though as they head into turn 3, and all this invites myself into the fight. We go down the inside of Latifi and get the move done on the Canadian and move ourselves up into 19th position. So decent stuff there, and a big slide on the exit. That was a lucky save, but
no tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
The car is fine. Sebastian Vettel is our next target up ahead, and we'll see if we can chase him down. Oh, that's a bit close to the barriers there. We got away with it though. Meanwhile, behind Latifi and Zhou Guan Yu fighting it out, and Zhou goes round the outside. Nice move for the Chinese driver and gets through. Meanwhile, we're fighting away with Vettel up ahead rather, and he's fighting away, I should say, with Kevin Magnussen. So let's see what we can do here. We've joined the fight, and now we're going 3 wide, and this is going to get a little bit tight as we head up towards turn 3. No one lifting out of this one as we head into the braking zone, where latest of the late breakers, Kevin Magnussen in the middle, and Sebastian Vettel trying to keep the fight going around the outside. He's done a great job to hang it out there, and I think he managed to get that position over Kevin Magnussen. So great stuff for Sebastian Vettel as we continue to push on.
Caution.
And caution up ahead. We're into 16th position now, so starting to make some progress as that is Max Verstappen out of the race. He took a grid penalty, so those new components not doing him any good. And yeah, that is unfortunate for Max Verstappen. And another yellow flag in the same place. Hamilton's pulled off the road, and Lewis Hamilton's out of the race with a mechanical failure. So 2 of the top drivers in this race, who started a bit further down the field, to be fair, as we go around the outside and make that overtake, they've retired. And there's a replay of the move, and nice clean one there, and we move ourselves ahead of Alex Albon. But
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
rain now coming.
Like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Obviously dry is still good,
Right,
but
let's have you in at the end of
yeah,
this
we're coming
lap,
into the
please.
pits this lap because I don't think these tyres will last with a huge amount of pace until the rain comes, so we'll stick a set of new tyres on now so we get the maximum amount of usage out of them before the rain comes. Our pit stop is only coming up in a few laps anyway, so we'll get a slight undercut on those we were fighting away with. Thankfully the pit crew do their job this time, no mistakes, and we can push on. Oh, we're really struggling with turn 2 once again coming out of the pit lane. So yeah, it's a tricky pit exit because you're launched straight into the next corner on cold tyres, and you don't have much time to get a sense of what the tyre grip is like. But anyway, we are now trying to make our way back through the field. We see if we can make the move around the outside. This is getting a little bit tight, and we thankfully do get through on Oscar Piastri, and that's one overtake made.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
But yeah, everyone else should probably have to make a pit stop before the rain comes. That is certainly what I'm hoping, and yeah, that should be the situation, but I'm not 100% sure how that's all going to play out yet. Down the inside of Nicholas Latifi, and a nice move there into the right-hander, now into the castle section. We're up and into P15, so tracking along quite nicely in this race, especially with those 2 DNFs for some of the front runners. Maybe there's an outside shot at points. It's not terribly likely, but it is certainly a possibility.
You've got P13.
P13 now after pit stops, and another move down the inside, and an overtake there on Mick Schumacher.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
So yeah, we really are flying through the field up into P12. Yuki Tsunoda in the pit lane as Schumacher's now coming back at us. We will fight back down the inside though, and wrestle our way through and move ourselves back up, and now into 11th position with Tsunoda in the pit lane, and he's moved on to the hard compound tyres as I think the rain has literally just started falling right now. So AlphaTauri, a horrendous strategy choice there, and that's very, very unfortunate for Yuki Tsunoda. Anyway,
Okay, we've lost a position. That's us down a place.
Schumacher gets past us as we're starting to struggle for traction in these conditions. We do have the chance to come back at him though as we head along the straight, and DRS still available at the moment, but it won't be long before that has been deactivated. So yeah, we'll have to make the most of that while we can, and yeah, see how it goes. But yeah, back up into P11,
The best tyre for now.
and the dryers are still working for us. We move ourselves up into P10 as more pit stops play out, and
So this rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
I'm just constantly checking, you know, what the tyre situation is. We're slipping and sliding all over the place. Schumacher to the outside as we head into turn 4, but no move to be made for the German there. We hold on but we're starting to gather a little train behind us, and Schumacher into the back of us there, as we're trying to hold off 2 cars at once. Albon was looking to the inside. So yeah, we're really struggling. Schumacher has knocked his front wing off, and that's brought out this full safety car. Into the pits we go then. It's time for... yeah, time for the intermediate tyres. So we're in the box. A few people have already stopped on the previous lap, such as Yuki Tsunoda, and he's actually gone and done the undercut on us and made it stick and made it work, because he's up into...
Okay, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
Up into P11, and we get past the safety car. Obviously, we're not the leader, so we're able to continue on.
Okay, we're sat in P12 now.
And we'll catch the safety car at a later time. Meanwhile, in the race lead is not Oscar Piastri. He's 0.99 laps behind. Not quite a full lap, but he's behind the safety car, ahead of the leaders for some reason. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but eventually he does manage to wrestle himself free from the safety car, and he continues to push on. So I don't know what that's about. Just on the run towards the castle section, he managed to get past the safety car, and is now pushing on to full speed to try and catch the train. So
in this lap, safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Alrighty then, we get going for the safety car restart here in Azerbaijan, and let's see what we can do here as we head down towards the first corner. They're going to go for the big lunge down the inside of 1, 2, 3 cars. Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, and Valtteri Bottas. We get all 3 of them. Bottas with a good exit though, and he holds on as we still try to have a look down the inside. Nothing we can do though, and Valtteri Bottas holds at that position. We drop into 10th, but still points paying position nonetheless. That is our target. If we can finish here, I will be very, very happy. So we'll just aim for that. I don't think we have the pace to challenge those ahead, but I mean, maybe we will, who knows. But at the moment, certainly don't have the rhythm in these conditions. It's an entirely different tempo of racing, and you just have to be so careful on the power when it's wet. And that's something I've been trying to get better at, but at the moment it's not really working out for me. Fernando Alonso takes the lead as we, or lead of this battle pack I should say, as we head down towards him through the first corner. We'll see if we can come back at him, and we will re-overtake Fernando Alonso into turn 3. So this is going to be a never-ending back and forth battle, I think, as we continue to push on. Fernando Alonso down the inside once again as we head towards the first corner. We'll see if we can make the move around the outside. We will, and that is a job done, and that moves us back up into 10th position. We're losing a lot of time to the group ahead, but it honestly doesn't matter because I don't think we'll be catching any of them anytime soon anyway. We just need to run our own race and do the best job that we can. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so that's unfortunate for the Frenchman, and he will not make it to the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He's off to the right there, and that moves us up into 9th position, so another free position for us in this race, with another retirement from a car that is genuinely faster than us, and that's Alonso in the wall. How did that happen? Fernando Alonso's just crashed through the left-hander. We'll go on board to see how this happened, and he clips our rear end and plows straight on into the wall with no downforce on the front of that car. I think that was a one-way trip to the barriers, inevitable at that point. And one lap later, our front wing has damage. I'm not exactly sure where that came from, but yeah, that is something we have to deal with for the final lap. But Fernando Alonso crashing out on the penultimate lap of the race. Or third to last lap rather, but regardless, what a disaster for Fernando Alonso, and he won't finish this one. We're still holding down 9th position. Yuki Tsunoda now into the top 10 and looking speedy as we're struggling more and more every lap, and Yuki Tsunoda going for the move now down the inside. We have to give him some room. I thought I was trying to cover off the inside, but Tsunoda, keen to get down there. We'll see if we can hold the position around the outside. We give him space on the apex, but we hold on for now. But Tsunoda is not giving up. He is still pushing incredibly hard through this final lap. We're going to be trying to take things as conservatively as possible to make sure we can cross the line in one piece. The track is in very poor condition at the moment. There's no grip at all, and we're struggling. You can see through every corner, losing the rear end. So yeah, we need to make sure we just keep it clean, keep it on the racing line, and hopefully that's enough to cross the line in the points. Meanwhile, up the road, Sergio Perez has cut through the chaos today, and he's going to come home with a race victory for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Great stuff, Sergio Perez. That is a well-deserved victory. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda making the move on us as we run towards the finish line. We duck into the slipstream, but there's nothing we can do but sit and wait. Tsunoda's going to take 9th. Is Vettel going to catch us? No, we'll hold on. P10 is ours. Sebastian Vettel just misses out on the points. So we'll beat our rival in this one. We'll score a point. And that's a pretty nice return to the series. Round 6, Azerbaijan, 1 point.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest? Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So it is Sergio Perez who takes race victory here in Azerbaijan. Second place goes to Charles Leclerc, with Carlos Sainz making it a double podium for Ferrari.
So let's review the updated driver standings. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to the scientist. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, Alpine move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Alrighty then, let's have a run through the top 10 finishers, and we'll have a look at how that has affected the standings. Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, and myself rounding out the top 10. And we also got the fastest lap in that race, so that's a nice little addition to this one. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Verstappen still leads the way by 23 points over Sergio Perez, who remains in second position. In terms of the rest of the field, the two Ferrari drivers, Leclerc and Sainz, sit 35 and 43 points adrift, respectively. Russell overtakes Hamilton with Hamilton's DNF for 5th in the standings, but they are a ways off. In terms of the title fight. Russell's 79 points away from Verstappen, so not really in the fight for Mercedes. And then the two McLarens follow, Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, tied on 30 points, with Fernando Alonso dropping 2 spots. So Norris passing Ricciardo and Alonso, going from 9th to 7th, and Kevin Magnussen rounding out to the top 10. We sit in 11th position, and we have 17 points to our name, just one behind Magnussen, so we could potentially be passing him at some point soon. In terms of the constructors' standings then, at the moment it is of course Red Bull leading the way, 55 points ahead of Ferrari, so with Verstappen's DNF, Ferrari getting the double podium, they've actually closed that up a little bit. Mercedes sit 3rd, ahead of McLaren, and then Alpine, who come from 7th, move themselves up to 5th. Alfa Romeo remain in 6th, and Haas drop to 7th from 5th. We sit in 8th position, followed by Alfa Romeo rather, Aston Martin and Williams. And that is the standings at the moment. In terms of who we are close to, no one really. We're on 17 points, Haas have 24 and Alfa Romeo have 8. With Aston Martin and Williams yet to score. So Vettel was very close to their first points of the season, but unfortunately wasn't to be for the green team this time. And so that brings the Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend to a close. We outscore Vettel in our little rivalry that we have going so far. That's obviously not going to finish for a little while yet. Acclaim and money rolling in after that. We get an extra few thousand credits in the bank, or a few 100,000 I should say. From all of that, we're up to 2.5 million credits, so things are looking nice and healthy in that department. I did actually take a look. We need about 2 million credits to re-sign Piastri mid-season, so I need to keep that in reserve, just to make sure we do that. But that's in 2 races time, so coming up soon. In terms of the activity timeline, we can do everything. And speaking of money, we are going to spend some on the durability department, specifically the quality control upgrade. We need to make sure our reliability department is reliable. But anyway, yeah, we haven't even touched that department so far, so it's about time we spent a bit of money on them, and it's only 1 million credits. We'll get that back very soon. So now we continue through the activity, or through the timeline rather, towards the next event, and we get that durability department upgrade. Can you please stop talking over me? I've forgotten what your name is, but just please stop. Anyway, we get our weekly resources, so that means we may be able to spend some. We're going to upgrade the aero department now. I said I wanted to do it before because I think we are the worst team in terms of aero. So we can upgrade this beam wing. I'm not sure exactly what part that is, but anyway, I only know front wings and rear wings, so I don't know beam wings. Is that like the little silly T-shaped thing on top?
Come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix. How do you want us to deal with this one?
And now we have a marketing department event to deal with. We can invest more in our merchandise at the track, and that will it'll cost us 50k, but increase our acclaim by 1,000, and I think that is probably worthwhile. 50k isn't that much, and 1,000 acclaim.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know how this like numerical acclaim values work, because you don't actually see the numbers assigned to us. I don't know how much a difference that makes. But anyway, I was going to mention something before. Oh yeah, the reshaped combustion chambers engine upgrade was also applied as we were scrolling through the timeline then. So that is all good. That is an email about the durability department. Happy with the new upgrades we've done to their facility. We get our weekly resources again, but not enough to do anything at this point. And now we come to the final decision of the episode. Which Pirelli hot lap event will we do next time? The autocross in the Mercedes, or the average speed zone in the Aston Martin? I'm leaning towards the average speed zone just because I'm not a fan of the autocross thing. But either way, it will give us a bunch of extra money and acclaim that will surely be very useful. But anyway, that is all for this time, so I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.